Hello stitchers, let's make a mitten ornament that is cross-stitched from one side. There is a fabric here, it has an opening, you can put a candy, small gift, small note inside and use it as a tag or a holiday decoration. This particular series continues the series of vintage mug mittens that I made last year, and I decided to make a video tutorial on how I'm sewing them. So let's begin. You will need the cross-stitched mitten. This particular one is called the Ghost Mug Mitten, and it can be found in my Instagram page, blog and Facebook page called Living on the Rainbow. This is a free pattern. You will also need a linen fabric. This is a cotton fabric, a thin one, and it should match the main background color of the mitten, this cocoa one here, as close as possible. This is just the closest that I found in my stash. You will also need another fabric for the inside part of the mitten, and it should match the mitten cuff also as close as possible. See, in this mitten, this is this orange one. Also, you will need the iron-on fusible interfacing. It has tiny dots of glue on one side, and it is transparent, and we will use this feature soon. Also, you will need pins, needles, scissors, ruler, and threads. Let's mark the seam allowance. We will need an allowance of 7 millimeters from the cuff side. I will mark it with the ruler, so 7 millimeters here, and 5 millimeters alongside the mitten contour. So 5 millimeters all around the mitten, except for the cuff, that is 7 millimeters. Mark it and then draw the outside contour. I drew the seam allowance line, that is 6 millimeters here at the cuff area and 5 millimeters on alongside the contour of the mitten. Now I will cut it out. I will put the iron-on fusible interfacing with the glue dots to the right side of the mitten. I will not be gluing it now, no iron. I will just make a template. So what I do is drawing the contour of your mitten, of your stitched, not this contour with the seam allowance, but the contour of the stitched mitten, like this. It will be our template for the next steps. Here we are. Now I will also need to add a 4 millimeter allowance at the cuff area. This one, my piece of interfacing was rather small. Like I have 4 millimeters here and 1 millimeter alongside the contour. You may not draw it, just remember about this millimeter when you will be cutting it out. And cut it out alongside the seam allowance contour. So it's ready. And you see it's a bit bigger then the stitched mitten. It's about 4 millimeters here and 1 millimeter alongside the contour. Now take the fabric that you have chosen for the back side of the mitten. Find the grain on grain direction. That is the direction that the fabric doesn't stretch. See, here it is. Put it with it wrong side facing you. This is the right side, this is the wrong side. Then put your mitten with its wrong side to this wrong side, like this, and draw its contour. Here it is. Cut it out. Now take the inside lining fabric, find the on grain direction, here it is, fold it with the right side inside on grain, like this. So the right side is here. Put your cross-stitched mitten on it, with its right side facing you, and draw its contour. Now pin these two layers of fabric with the pins. And cut the two pieces out. Now take the back side part with its wrong side facing you and transfer the cuff line using this cross-stitched mitten to the back side part, like this. Here I matched the edges here and just try to continue this line. Yeah. Now take the interfacing part that we cut out earlier. You need to glue it on the wrong side of the back part of the mitten. So these glue dots should be put on the wrong side of this piece, matching the cuff line, like this, and press them with the hot iron. The glue will melt and bond two pieces together. Here it is, already glued. See? Now take these two pieces and pin each of them right sides together, one with the back part and another with the stitched part. So right sides are here inside, facing each other. And the same here, and pin them like this. When you pin, you should match the cuff line very carefully. This edge here. This one is ready. And the same here. Match the cuff line and pin. Now sew them together, following this line, this cuff line, only here, one seam. If you have a sewing machine, use it here. I will sew it by hand using back stitch with the smallest stitches. And sew these two parts together too, also following this cuff line. I use a matching thread, matching the color of the cuff and the inside part, and stitch. When you sew from this side, the stitched mitten will show you this line that you should follow. Just stitch by stitch. I finished stitching this part. You see the line here, my back stitch seam, and from this side too. Now do the same with these two parts, following this line. So again, with smallest back stitch stitches, or using your sewing machine if you have one. I'll fix my thread at the beginning, stitching several stitches at one place, and now I will move forward. The stitches are very small, like 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeters wide. Here we are, both parts are ready. The seam here and the seam here. Now you need to press the seams open, like this. And press them with your iron. Already pressed and ready for the next step. You see there is a clean look here, and the same on this side. Now match these two parts together with their right sides facing each other. The most important thing here is to match this seam at the cuff. There is a little helper here. I don't so I'm sorry for any shaking of the camera. And so let's pin the seams. One and another pin. So the seams are matched. You now pin the mitten on alongside the corner contour, like this. And pin this inside lining part too. Now baste these parts together and remove the pins, all except these two ones at the cuff seam. We need this just to fix these two layers together. I basted them, and these two pins remain in place here at the seam area. Now we need to draw the mitten contour at this inside lining part, because we need some contour to follow when we'll be stitching it together. So draw it following the outside contour, but move about 7 or 8 millimeters inside from this outside contour. So just mark these 7-8 millimeters. We need the inside lining to be a bit smaller than the outside mitten. This way it will be folded inside accurately and will look smooth. So now I will draw the contour following these marks that I made. So you see, I just connect these marks and follow the outside edge. And yeah. We also need to mark opening for turning, which should not be stitched. It is better to do this in this part of the inside lining, and it should be about 2–2.5 centimeters wide. I just make these two marks, and I will stitch the mitten with the back stitch, again with the smallest stitches, starting from this point, following this line, following the stitched mitten line, and ending here. So this place remained not stitched. This is an opening for turning. If you have a sewing machine, it is better to do this with the sewing machine, but it's okay to do it by hand. It will just take a bit more time. So I took a matching thread, and I will start here. Fix the thread well, stitching several small stitches at one place. I think 2 will be enough. And sew using the back stitch, following the line that we have just draw. Again, the stitches should be small, tight. And I will stitch all alongside this contour, then this stitched contour, and ending here. I finished sewing these parts together. Here is my back stitch seam. Here is the opening for turning. It is not stitched. And this is the look from the other side. Now with the sharp scissors, cut the excess seam allowance to 3 millimeters, and at the opening for turning up to 5 millimeters. Now make small notches at all curved areas and in all corners, like here, 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 here at the finger, at the opening for turning. So I'm going to do this like this. There should be about 1 millimeter left between the cut and your stitching. The space between the notches is about 3-5 millimeters. And on the lining side too. Also make notches at the opening for turning. Now fold the seam allowance at the opening for turning to the wrong side, like this, and baste it. Be sure not to stitch the opening, because you will not be able to turn the mitten out. We just need to fix this allowance. And do the same from the other side. Now let's turn the mitten out. I use the forceps for this. Put them inside the mitten and try to catch this part of the mitten with the forceps. And pull it towards the opening for turning. It's almost here. Just a little bit more. And now I take it with my fingers and pull it outside slowly. Let's smooth it from the inside. Put the finger. Here is the finger. Reach this opening with the invisible seam. And remove the basting here. Iron your mitten. It is better to use pressing fabric or a clean cotton fabric. Put it on your mitten, wet it a bit and press from both sides, especially these places, these corners. This pressed. You see how smooth it is? And now just fold the lining inside the mitten. I'm using the forceps again. Just push it inside. Here it is. Pay attention to this area. Fold the lining inside so that it wasn't visible when you're looking at your mitten. Carefully smooth all the lining curves from the inside using forceps or crooked hook. Anything thin and not too sharp. And then just add a hanging string if you plan to hang it somewhere. Usually I make twisted cord like this mitten. Sew it on this end, and that's all. It's ready.